Who moved my cheese? How would I know? These kinds of things, normally we'd ask the five W's. Who, what, when, where, and why. But do we really always have to ask that? Do we really need to know the answers for those questions when we can actually just move forward and look for new cheese? The cheese in the story doesn't exactly point out to, maybe a new situation, a new job, a new relationship, a new environment. But it could be anything. It really can be anything. With how the story went, we're looking at mainly it's about being able to adapt to changes, being able to handle these changes that happen in our lives. As the saying goes, change is inevitable. Change is constant. So, are we just going to stay in our situation even if things change, or do we actually adapt to that situation and make our situation better? When worse comes to worse, would you still stay at your situation, or would you do something to improve it? I'm sure you would try to do something to improve it, right? When it comes to the cheese that we're all chasing, it can be anything. It could be things that we're aware of and unaware of. The things that we are aware of would be improving our financial situation, improving our relationships, personal and work, a lot of things really. Those things that we're unaware of could be the skills that we need to improve on that we've been so comfortable with for a long time that in our mind we think that it's okay. I mean, we're doing it so good, but in reality, we don't know that we actually need to improve. We don't realize that even if there are things that we've been doing for a long time, we think we're really, really good at it. We don't realize that sometimes we still need to improve on it if you don't keep an open mind about things, right? How can you learn? It's life is the biggest school that you're in. Learning never stops. Learning should never stop. So if you're not open to learning new things, you won't be able to adapt to change. You won't be able to anticipate change. You'll get stuck. And with the characters in the story, if there's anyone that could relate with, it's the little people. The way I handle things personally, I think it still bounces between the two. I don't think it's a good thing. I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. It's a learning process. Like I mentioned earlier, it's a learning process. Depending on what's happening, we could be Hem, who dwells on things too much, or it could be Haw, who eventually realizes the change, adapts to it, and then eventually learns from it and understand that we have to anticipate change. Always. If there would be any changes that I need to make in my work and my personal life to improve my situation right now, it would be to drop the hem and be the haw. That's pretty much it. I'm sure you're familiar with the characters, but drop the hem, start being the haw. That's really the way it should be. That's really the way that we should do things. That should be the way that we should address things. Well, not too long, but at least, I think anticipating change and all, adapting to change, of course. Like right now, like what happened to our team. For our Team MJ, we're three on the team, but one of our members was on her way to finding new cheese, and that meant finding it elsewhere. So now there's only two of us in the team, and we need to adapt to that change to learn how to continue and learn how to do things, even if there's two of us left in the team, which is a continuous process, of course, but we're gonna get there. Always make sure that you keep a positive mind about things. I mean, it's okay to try to dwell on the negative, but not too long. If there's anything negative that happens, you need to, maybe for a short bit try to understand what's going on, but it doesn't mean you have to dwell on it. It doesn't mean you have to get stuck on it, but rather sometimes you have to take these changes and grab them by the balls and just face them. Just face these changes, and eventually you'll learn how to move forward, and eventually you'll learn how to deal with things better. And eventually you will find your new cheese. Hope I made sense. I hope you learned something from this. Thank you for listening. Peace out.